Welcome to the Athlete to Athlete series. My name is Rennie Curran. I'm a former professional athlete, speaker, leadership coach, and the founder of the Game Changers Foundation. Our mission is to help current and former athletes in sports, business, and life. Each week, we'll be bringing you top former athletes to share tips, tools, and strategies to help you change the game on and off the field. Our series is made possible through our amazing sponsors, the Sports Turf Company. This week on the Athlete to Athlete series, we're joined by an amazing guest straight out of Dunwoody High School, a former defensive lineman who played at University of Georgia, All-American, All-World, my man, big bro, Travis Stroud. Travis, what's going on, bro?
Doing well, man. I appreciate you for having me.
Yes, sir. Thanks so much for being on the show, man.
Absolutely.
So the first question I have for you, man, is just tell us about your high school experience, man, just those memories that you have.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I was on the M2M program, which is the minority to majority program where students were bused from the south side of town to the north side of town. So from the 8th grade to my senior year, I was bused from the south side to the north side. So it took some getting used to having to get on the bus from 5 o'clock in the morning and not get home until 8 o'clock at night, having to go to school, go to practice, then ride another hour back home. But I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I hate it for the world. Totally understand. And I know, within that journey, there were some challenges that you faced along the way. So tell me about a major challenge that came across your way and how you were able to overcome it.
Yeah, I guess the biggest challenge was leaving what's comfortable to you. My dad was big on, making the name better than it was when we got it. And he kept us comfortable being uncomfortable, right? Yeah. So, went up to Dunwoody, did well in the classroom, took being a student athlete serious, right? I won 2 kids state wrestling championships, North Georgia champion in baseball, and won a state championship in 93, 94, 15-0. One of the only schools in the state of Georgia to do that during that time. So I would say we had some success, making that pilgrimage up north.
Nice, man. So tell us about all the teams that you played on throughout your journey.
So I played at Dunwoody High School. Of course, I have to give a shout out to Gresham Park, right? Gresham Park is pretty much what made a lot of us who we are. Yeah. Just come to find out they're planning to turf every field at Gresham Park now. DeKalb County is, paying homage to, that park being instrumental in developing a lot of us, former athletes and current athletes. But played at Gresham Park, Dunwoody High School, University of Georgia, played baseball and football up there. Was a free agent with the Falcons, played in the Arena League with the Florida Bobcats. And it was a journey, right? It wasn't the journey I expected, being one of the top players in your craft, for so many years and being able to play at a high level in 2 major sports. You would have thought I would have, had a 10-year career. Yeah. Been able to retire under my own merit, if you will. But unfortunately, God had a different plan for me. So I'm here doing well. Wouldn't change it. Yeah. The experiences, right? I wouldn't call falling short and losses. Right. It's really experiences to make us who we are at the end of the day.
Definitely. We're going to get into that. But one question I have for you, for all those high school athletes who are out there watching right now, a big part of our game, man, is the ritual, the things that we do every single game to prepare to get the right mindset, man. So tell us about what your pregame ritual was.
Yeah, my pregame ritual was really was prayer meditation. Okay. And then some of the most raunchy music you could ever think of.
So you gotta give us some artists, man. You can't just...
back in the day, it was Southern rap for me, hip hop from, UGK. For young guys don't know who UGK is. MJG, Outkast.
Of course, you gotta give
Outkast.
Can't be that Atlanta.
Absolutely. NWA even. They did a movie about those guys. But football is one of those sports to where it's not normal. You have to kind of be outside of yourself to really perform. It's controlled chaos. Right. It's poised at the end of the day. So you have to have a balance. But I guess my main ritual would be prayer meditation and, getting that nap
Yeah.
And then you get up ready to play, baby.
Pre-game nap, get your mind right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Man, you talked a little bit about, how chaotic the game is, man, and how it's organized chaos. So for those athletes who are trying to get to that next level, who are trying to get that it factor, trying to operate at a high level on a consistent basis, man, what did you do to set yourself apart?
It was really consistency, right? There aren't many guarantees in life,
right?
Outside of taxes and death. Those are all the guarantees that you have, right?
Yeah.
I tell any young person, and what we did was setting a goal and being able to establish a plan to implement that goal, but understanding the love and the passion for the process. I tell any young person to fall in love with the process, because the end result isn't the guarantee, right? My end result didn't happen the way I thought it would. However, I enjoyed the process, right? Yeah. It wasn't always fun. I teach my son, any young person that I mentored, to understand the importance of having delayed gratification, putting work in now, and then being comfortable, being okay. Not doing it because you're thinking the end goal that's in your mind will happen, because it'll set you up for failure and disappointment at the end of the day, and it'll put you in a bad state of mind. So understand that everybody's working hard.
Yeah.
Everybody's grinding the same way you're grinding.
Yeah.
Fall in love with the process. Understand hard work will pay off.
Love it.
One way or another.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Another question that popped up in my head, man, is we all got that play that we remember.
Yeah.
That was like that it play where you was like, oh man, I think I got something, man. What was one of those plays, man, that you remember from your high school days that was one of your biggest plays?
Well, I had a bunch of big plays.
Of course, man, you All-American.
It was 8th, 9th grade was my first year ever playing football.
Yeah.
Right. So I arrived on campus, 265 pounds,
big boy,
about 6'1", and they put the ball in my hand.
Oh wow.
I became a running back for a minute. And I remember playing 8th and 9th grade, and I had to come back home and play against McNair. That was my home school, that I ended up leaving.
Yeah.
And I had a chance to play against some of my homeboys, if you will.
Yeah.
First play of the game, they blew me up. Ball went everywhere. But I gathered myself and got back in and had a pretty decent game. We lost the game, but I did pretty well. Also, man, just playing against the Southwest DeKalbs of the world.
Yeah.
That was our rival growing up. Dunwoody, Southwest DeKalb.
Mm-hmm.
We had a chance to beat Southwest twice in 1 year. We beat them in the regular season. We beat them in the first round of the playoffs. We were down 21-7.
Wow.
We ended up winning the game 28-21. And, I was able to sack Quincy once, cause a fumble.
Okay.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
He's doing well, but those are the memories that I have. There's the competition. I remember growing up, when we trained together during the summer, we went to our respective schools to compete against each other. Yeah. Now you got kids who want to be on the same team and they want to, hang out together, but we enjoyed the true competition of preparation and then being able to compete against one another.
Love it, man. Love it. Well, one last question, man, before we wrap things up, man. We all know that our career is going to come to an end one day at some point. We all have that, like I like to say, we all have that expiration date, no matter how many plays you think you have or how good you think you are. So what are you doing now, and what advice would you give to those guys as they move forward as far as off the field and preparing? Just
understanding percentages. 0.08% of kids, transition to, college sports, let alone to the NFL or professional sports. So having a parallel initiative in regards to your transition strategy. I don't call it a fallback plan because as student athletes, we had to do that simultaneously as young folks. So being able to plan out what it is you want to do is really important. I wanted the league to fund my aspirations of entrepreneurship, so when the league I fell short of the league, I still had aspirations. So I had to, pick up the pieces on what's next. However, I was able to, because I took being a student athlete serious, I was a little bit more prepared than a lot of folks were. Athletes get a bad rap about being focused on one and putting all your eggs in one basket, but people fail to realize we have to meet the obligation of a student, go to labs, go to study hall, go to class. But then from an athlete perspective, you have to go to practice, off-season training. You have to
Mhm.
travel to, to your games. So when we don't have a lot of opportunity to do those internships that our counterparts,
Right.
have. So at the end of that journey, either you go to the league or you don't. You may have your paperwork, which is your degree, but you don't have a way to apply that. So now I just tell young folk to make sure that you're able to prepare simultaneously for
Right.
that opportunity. If you don't make it to the league, you have a degree, but you have no way of implementing, that degree or that paperwork. You have a lot of guys educated 4-year degrees that are still, unemployed, looking for their transition strategy.
Right.
So yeah, that's one of the things that I think we should be able to kind of help bridge the gap in that regard. Just raise awareness. Every kid wants to play professional. It's great to have a aspiration or a goal, but having a realistic understanding. If you had to bet, if you were a betting man, and you can bet on 98.2% of something versus 0.08% of something, you probably will put your money on the 98%.
Right.
And it says 98.02% of kids may not even go to the next level, but they will be professional in something other than sports.
Right.
So, it's a lot of us, trying to walk through that doorway, but being realistic. My dad always told us, the worst thing you can do is get your degree. That means you go to class, you get your paperwork, anything else is a plus.
Definitely,
So that was the drive that we had that kept us, grounded. Was I devastated? Was devastated when I couldn't, because I was one of those kids that was a sure end.
Mm-hmm.
You look at as recently as Kumar Rocker, his situation did really well at Vanderbilt freshman year. The pandemic hit, threw pretty well this year, was a 7th overall pick, big time pitcher. Ended up not signing his contract because they found some type of injury, with his elbow, which is unfortunate. But when you look at his skill level and the success that he had, he was a sure end, right? So you have to look at those things. It could be circumstance, it could be injury that can keep you, that all falls into play in regards to that 0.08%.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, man, thank you so much for all the knowledge you share. I'm sure there's a lot of high school guys out here that are going to take so much from everything, man. So we wish you continued success, man. Appreciate you joining us on the Athlete to Athlete series.
Athlete to Athlete, presented by Sports Turf Company and the Game Changers Foundation.